Hey crew, what are you doing? How are you doing? But I mean seriously, what are you doing? This channel's supposed to be fun. I get 102 subscribers in a month. That's more than I thought I would get on this channel, period. And I know everybody says that, but that's exactly how everybody who starts a YouTube channel feels. This channel is supposed to be for fun. Now there's almost 1,000 of you watching this 4,000 times, 4.2 thousand times in a period of 28 days. That's ridiculous. And I feel like you're getting cheated, you know? You're getting hot garbage content on a frequency that doesn't make sense. So we're gonna do this a little bit more intensely. And I'm doing this as an announcement and as a start to the next series that's coming up, and it's going to be rebuilding this app. You guys remember this app? Probably summer 2 years ago I showed you this. This is one of the first apps I ever built in Bubble. And it's a single page app, and that's, I mean, there's a lot of questions from new users about single page apps and how to make them and how to navigate through them. There's also a lot of people bitching about animations that are native to Bubble. I mean, this was entirely built using the custom Bubble animations. And I don't know, it's good enough for me. Like, look at this, it's gorgeous. And this is all native Bubble animations. It allows you to switch pages and stuff. Now there's a few things missing from this version, and we're gonna build out the entire events app, sort of like Eventbrite, and you'll be able to like buy tickets and stuff. And that's what we're gonna be doing together over a period of, I'm thinking 30 weeks, okay? 30 weeks, we're gonna build this, which means 30 videos. One video every week for 30 weeks. And we're gonna do all of these features, like all of the connects, all of the OAuth stuff, all of the login stuff, all of the single page navigation stuff, all of the event stuff, all the logging stuff, all the dashboard stuff, all of the stuff, crew. We're gonna be doing it, and we're gonna start today with how the hell do I send stuff to a single page app when all they allow is a single page type. This came out yesterday, which is a good fix because they used to do like your app.com / your page / the title of your thing, which is a normalized URL, and then the actual ID. And they tried to change it to your app.com / your page / the title of your thing without the ID. And it's cool, but I mean, you can only still have one thing. That's my qualm with it. Let's get rid of this here. Let's go here. Let's go to actually, right here. If I go and I say the type of content is a user, and the field for readable URL is the name of the user. I don't have a user yet. Let's build a user. Here's my app data. Okay, let's go to data types. Let's go to users. If you don't know Bubble yet, don't worry about it. This video is a little bit for more advanced users, but we're gonna go back into more detail with this in the future, in the next videos that I make. Let's get a text here. Let's make a user. New entry. This is more like a just for you guys who already have been following the channel a little bit. This is great, and this is what? Oh yeah, of course. We need an email. The email is going to be ds@super.com. Yeah, that's what it's going to be. And the name is going to be user1. Cool. Cool. Okay, so now we have a user. Like I said, if you don't know Bubble yet, don't worry about it. This is just to get sort of your feet wet. If you've been following the channel for a little bit, you'll know everything that I'm doing here. There's nothing new. And the rest will start from zero, and we'll go slower because people have been telling me that I speak too fast, and I'm probably already speaking too fast. I mean, the audience is very international, and I understand that. And I understand that I need to speak slower and explain what I'm doing in a little bit more detail. And I'm cool with that. So we're gonna go with username. And in the page, I have a user now, but I have to send a user, I have to. And the field for readable is username. That's the username. And then we're gonna go here and we're gonna go this page because we can access it now. Page, if I just type in page, current page, user. Okay, so we load a user and we're gonna load their name in. And it should show Super1 if there's a user here. It'll probably be Lorem on our first preview, but let's test that out. Okay, really gonna try going slow here. Username is Lorem Ipsum. Why? Because this is a sample user, okay? Sample user is always Lorem Ipsum, that's their name. But it did load a user into the page. Now, if I navigate to this page, you'll notice, whoops. Oh, I have an event, that is awesome. Okay, let's go here. Let's close this. Okay, here, if I want to navigate to this page, okay, nav to user, I have to navigation, go to page, it's clearly this page, which is called Sandbox for some reason. And I have to send data. I have to. I don't have a choice. It won't work otherwise. You'll get an issue and you won't be able to deploy. So let's do a search for a user. And let's just grab the first one for testing purposes, okay? Let's preview that. And I'm going to explain to you my qualms with this. If I navigate to a user, we found the user. Here's user 1 with a dash and this ugly thing because they built it a day ago and they've already removed it. I have no access to it. It's sad, but it is what it is. And we could do better than that, you and I, together. And we will, right now. So instead of doing that, you've already learned on this channel that you can navigate to go to page. It could be Sandbox, and we can send another parameter to the page. Add another parameter. We're going to go U for user. And we're going to go current user. Or no, do a search for user. And we could send the ID, because they're basically sending the name and the ID. We're just going to send the name, okay? Username. We're going to remove this error, otherwise it'll never work. We'll never be able to deploy. Boom. Here, no type of content. Current page thing does not exist, but we can go to the page and add a state that is going to be user. And that type is going to be user. And we're going to create that. Now we need to load a user into here, and then we're going to get current pages. So the page's name is Sandbox, is user, and we're loading a state instead of the built-in type of content. And the reason for that is because we can send a user, but sometimes, especially in a single page app, we might want to send an event, or we might want to send, I don't know, something else, like a ticket, a particular ticket, so that the user can see that ticket. And sometimes we want to send a user and an event, so that we know who the user visiting is and what the event is. But using only one single page type, we can't send both. But we can using the method I'm about to show you. So here's Sandbox's user and their name. And we're going to try to do this exactly the same way. We're going to navigate here. We're going to go to the page. We're going to search for the user's name. And we're going to send that in the URL parameter. Let's start with that, and then I'll show you the next step. Now we have Sandbox, and we nav, and here's my U and user 1. Now all we need to do is search for a user with that name. Easy. Let's go general. Page is loaded. Now the page is going to be loaded. Sorry. I have a really good mic now because that's part of my making the quality of the content better. And I hope you guys didn't hear that, but I'm sure you did. Maybe I'll edit it out, but me being lazy, probably not. Here's the data, and let's load a thing into the page, right? So the page is loaded. We're going to set state, okay? States, for those of you who don't know, need to watch another video before watching this one. Go through my channel. I talk about it on almost every video. Let's do a search for user first item, just like we did prior. And let's search for users, whose name is, and then we're going to try to pull this right here. The parameter's name is u equals, and the user is 1, right? Or whatever name it is. Okay, let's go to get data from page URL, the parameter, and we said the parameter name was u, right? So now we're searching for a user whose name is the u from the page URL's first item. Now we have to make sure that the names are all unique. So we could use the name, or we could use the unique ID. The name is just nicer if you're not going to mask the URL. If we have time in this tutorial, we're going to mask the URL. But basically, u is user, and now I'm loading it into the page. Like if I go and debug mode equals true, right? And debug underscore mode equals true. Why would you do that to me? Let's send the current parameters just so we don't lose our debug. Please. Please, team. And did I do something wrong? It's underscore mode equals true. I'm almost certain of it. Why would you do this to me? Can we not run this in debug mode right away? Thank you. Let's go. There it is. Okay, so now we have our debug. And we can actually inspect our page, I think. Where are you getting this? Where are you getting this? User 1. Sandboxes. User is this user's name. Now we just successfully loaded a user into the page just by navigating with this value here. Right? Easy peasy. Now, what we're going to do is we're gonna also set an event at the same time, which is something you can't do with the native thing. With the native bubble, send the stuff. You know what I mean by send the stuff. Sorry, event. EV. Event. Active. Create. Now, just to show you, in the app data, if I go to event active, there is actually one event right here. Okay? It has nothing except a title, and the title has an actual title, which is great for me. Let's save this. Okay? And now we're going to send that event at the same time. EV. EV is going to be do a search for events, actives, first item. Okay? We're just going to send the first one, and we're going to send their title. It's going to automatically URL encode it for me, I think. Yeah. We're not going to send the title. We're going to send the unique ID in this case. This is what I said about users. Okay, we know that it's going to be unique, and we know that it has to be an event if we send it properly because it's a unique ID, right? So we're just going to send the unique ID. On the same button, click, we're going to send it an EV of the first one. Okay, so let's preview that. Now, automatically, we know that it's loading in. And then let's go and let's look at this. There's the event. Cool, that's pretty easy. Now we have to load this into our page. So we go page is loaded, set state of Sandbox's user, and we can also set at the same time another state that's an event. And we can do the same thing, do a search for an event active. And that event's active, what we're loading is, let's go take a look here. EV equals, this is a unique ID. So we're gonna go look for something whose unique ID equals get data from page URL. It's a parameter. What is its name? EV. Okay? It's not a name, but okay. EV. And we're gonna just pull the first item because this is not a list. It's just one event. We're gonna look for something that has a unique ID, and it's gonna be the first item, even though we know there's only ever gonna be one of them loading, right? So let's try that again, and let's get some confirmation here by going enter. And we're gonna put the username, and we're also gonna put, paste, the events title, so that we could see that we're actually loading it in there. We're almost done, actually. This is great. Okay. So now we have sandbox debug mode equals true. We have no name and we have no ID. But when we click here, it's gonna go boom. It's gonna go and it's gonna load a user and an event. Isn't that nuts? On the same page. Now, can we do no user and just an event? Yes, we can. Let's send just the event here. There's the event, but we have no user loaded because we don't need one in this use case, let's say. And can we load just a user? Yes, we could load just a user. Let's click back here because that's the gorgeousness of using these page parameters. And then just the user, no event. Easy peasy. So on a single page app using this method, we can actually send a number of things, as many things as we need to. I mean, we could load the page states. Excuse me for a second. Didn't want to cough into my mic. We can actually send as many things as we want. We could send any number of things. Okay, so just to make that clear. Next, this is passionately ugly. Why would I ever want to see this? In most cases, I want something like /user1, right? That's what I want. Okay, that's simple enough, right? Let's go here and let's go. Instead of seeing my actual URL, I want to mask it and put something else in there. We're gonna use a plugin to do this. You can use JavaScript if you're familiar with it. But in our case, it's mostly easier to just look for, in the install new plugins, you look for browser. You saw how long that took. That's not, I mean, it's really annoying. Install this one, but it's not uncommon for the plugins to take hours to load on Bubble's plugin thing. Now the browser gives you a number of options, which are all here. You can check them out if you want. The ones that we're most interested in is modify and replace the URL of a browser. They're slightly different. One of them replaces the history, one of them doesn't. I don't really care in our use case if it replaces in the history or not. I just wanted to mask this URL from what it was prior to what we need now. So on the page load, we're just gonna go here, plugins. Nope. Element actions, maybe? Nope. Where was it? Data? No. Navigation? No. custom. Where is my, oh, we need to put it on the page. I am slow today. But that's good, right? Because I said we were gonna do things slowly. We put the actual element browser on the page, and it would give us access to all of the workflows that are associated to it. So now on page load in element actions, we get all these browser things. We're gonna use modify. Browser A, the URL is going to be this URL slash, it automatically adds a slash after this URL, slash this page's name, right? Let's actually just check what this URL does. I haven't done this in a while because I just copy and paste the workflow, to be honest with you, across all my apps. But let's go dynamic data, and let's go this URL and see what this URL actually loads, right? And this will always appear because we always have one. Let's preview. Dum-de-dum-de-da. Hello? Okay, so we get all of this stuff. That's not what we want. It's not this URL. What we want is, we'll just build it out here and copy it over. Website home URL. It automatically adds a slash. We want page name. Do we have page name? We could get data from page URL. Okay, so we have a slash. Now get data from page URL. We want path segments as list. Close. We're gonna get all of them and see what gives here. It's probably gonna be just the page name. Yep, slash sandbox, but you'll notice it takes all the parameters out because we're only getting the path segments, which means anything between slashes, right? Sandbox. I love it. I love sandbox. Okay, and then we're gonna add as well. We could either use append, just in case that we can't add multiple ones. I think we should be able to append. Okay, we can't append. We're just gonna build it off the end, slash, and then we want, okay, so let's say we're gonna have a few use cases here, and we're gonna see them in the future, but we're gonna go slash, and then first, sandbox's user, okay? User's name. And we're also gonna go slash, no, we're gonna go insert dynamic data is sandbox's event. So just in case we don't have an event or whatever, it'll depend on the use case, and we're gonna do, oh, I'm speaking too fast again. It depends on your use case, and we are going to do a little bit of finessing on this, but this is the general idea. Sandbox's event is not empty. Format it as text. And we're gonna go formatting. If it's not empty, we're gonna go slash, sorry, first slash, and then we're gonna go sandbox's events title. And we're gonna go find and replace. Text to find is a space replaced by nothing, just so it doesn't format as URL. Formatting for no, we don't want anything. Let's preview that. Now you know that we can have a unique link for a user. This is slash user1 and slash the title on the actual thing. Now, this is never gonna work, and I will tell you why. I can't search for this event. Now, if I copy this and I let's say I duplicate this and I paste it in, nothing's gonna load, right? Yeah, nothing's gonna load. And the reason nothing's gonna load is because we only have landing on get, right? Page load, only when get data from page URL, it's user, right? Yeah, is not empty. Or get page EV is not empty. So in our case, we only want to really run this workflow if we're dealing with stuff that looks like this, right? And now we want the ability for the user, when they see the pretty URL, to be able to just copy it and paste it to in their chats or to their friends or whatever. And we want it to actually load stuff into the page when they land from a pretty URL. So this is land. Oh, thank you, Bubble. I love it. Let's reload. This kind of stuff happens, you know? And if it happens to you in real time while you're doing a demo, go to status.bubble.io. I think this is right. Yes. And then you show them like 99.91% uptime. Google does not do, I think it does 99.98 or 99.99. And you could show them like there was a problem here on 10th of August and the next problem was on the 14th. And this is a partial outage, this is a major outage, and this is when the cluster was down. and it was only down for an hour and a half. It's not ideal, okay? To you guys, to you server guys, though, you understand the amount of engineering required to skip from 99.99 to 99.98 is orders of magnitude, and Bubble is still a startup. I'm defending them, yes. Absolutely, I'm defending them because it's a great tool. But I just wanted to show you this in case you were building an app for a client or whatever, and it ever goes down. Show them this. 90 days with maybe 3 hours of partial outage and maybe 2 hours of major outage. Okay? No problem. I don't see that as a problem. Okay, back to here. If you're looking for a production, super stable app for hundreds of thousands of users, maybe not. But if you're not at 100,000 users, probably a really good value for money here. Okay, so back to what we were saying. We get a user, we get an EV, no problem so far. Let's just make sure I'm recording. Yes, still recording. And here, in my sandbox, I want to be able to land with a pretty URL that looks like this. Okay, so now we have this. Let's get EV is not empty. Sorry, this is what we were doing. Okay, so let's just recap here at this point. I'm hoping you guys are still watching because that was a bunch of garbage what just happened here for the last 2 minutes. Page is loaded, get U from page URL is not empty, or get EV from page URL is not empty. We're going to set the state, we're going to look for them, and then we're going to modify the URL of browser A. And the URL we're going to modify to is what we just built out over here. So let's just grab this. We might as well rebuild it. It's website home URL, then get data from page URL, copy. Paste. Expression, website home URL, slash. Okay, it automatically adds a slash. Get data from page URL. Okay, and we're gonna go just the first item, path segments is list, first item, which is the name of your page, naturally. And then you're gonna go, is not empty. Okay, is the user not empty? Get data from page URL, path parameter name is U for a user, is not empty. Format it as text. If it is not empty, we will send that path parameter, U. And if it is empty, I don't want to hear anything about it, right? And then we're going to do the same thing for the EV. Paste. Get EV. Format it as text. And it'll give you the slash, right, at the beginning. And we're gonna get EV. Yeah. Format it as text. Okay. There's a few more things to do before this all works, but you're starting to get the hang of it, right? And now we can send a user to our page, and it lands properly. See? Boom. Sandbox, user 1, and this. Okay. What we actually landed on is like U equals this slash. Okay. No, not slash, it's question mark, U equals this, okay? And N, like this, and EV equals this. And what it does is it captures that, and it turns it into a pretty URL every time you load the page with this stuff. You see it? It is gorgy. Now you want to grab this, and you want to be able to paste it in your, I don't know, send it to your mom on her Facebook, or whatever. It's not going to load. That's the problem, because if I go like this and I go boom, boom, yeah, we don't get a user and we don't get an event. Now we need those to load when you land pretty. That's what I call it. I call it land ugly and land pretty. And this is basically a pretty URL. So let's just copy this and paste it over, okay? Because we're going to be using some of the stuff. And here it's not get U, it's path segments is list. And Bubble fixed this, it's a bug. It's not get U, it's get path segments is list, okay? And we know it's not the first item, it's going to be the second item. And the second item, okay, you want to always send it as an event, as a user. And the third item, right, there's a little bit of a problem here. Okay, so I'll show you it. Like I said, this is not structured, and it's still not structured, but it will be structured in the next few videos. For now, we're going to assume that we're landing with a user first, and then an event, because it will be possible in the next iteration to land with just an event or just a user. And in that case, we won't know if item number 2 is a user or an event. But we're just going to get number 2 is not empty, okay? And if number 2 is not empty, it's guaranteed to be a user. And we're going to go sandbox, value, search for users whose name is get, path segments is list, item number 2. Close this, This is a little fishy here. Item number 2. If you get stuck in these screens, because if you're layering, I'm of the opinion that if I'm layering and I go get you, it should pop out another window here, but it doesn't. It just puts it in here. Now to get back to the previous window, you have to click close and it'll actually do this, which is bad UX, but what am I gonna say? It's workable. Okay, so now we have a name. It's pulling get you item number 2. And we don't need this because we don't need on land pretty. We don't need that. We don't need to make the URL pretty again. And the event will be search for events who is get path segments is list. You guessed it, item number 3. Okay, because here we have, just to give you an example, we have version test item number 1 and item number 3. The problem is this is not going to reflect. I might as well show you. Now we're landing pretty. Boom. We found user 1 and we should not have found user 2 actually. Oh, it's because it's masking. Let's copy this. Go T, go V. Yeah. How did you find it? You're crazy. How did you find this? Oh, it is. Okay, we're landing with this. Well, it worked out of the box. I thought I was looking for the title, but I'm not looking for the title. Yeah. Okay, as long as you use unique ID, it works. If you want it to be pretty like this, you have to do some workarounds, which we'll show you in the video when I actually do it and I have a structure. This is just my first attempt at it, and it's good enough for now. Okay, so now that's how you load basically the different events into your page, because this is in my page here. This is not a joke. This is actually the user, and this is actually the event that I punched in here. But in this case, we're using the unique ID on the event, which was not the intent. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. You're right. You're right. We'll do it properly. Search for event actives whose... It can't be a unique ID. The problem is, if it's a title, it has spaces, and then the actual title that we're going to send here... Okay, let's go away. What we're actually sending here has no spaces. And so it's never going to find it, right? If I go like this, we should not find it. Yeah, we found the user, but we did not find the event, because the event, there's no title like this. So, on creation, we need to change another field, right? And the field that we need to change, data type in EVs, active, we need one that's called pretty URL. And the pretty URL is a text, and it's just the title with the spaces removed, right? So every time that you create an event, and we're going to do this properly in the next one, but every time we create an event and we change the title, we need to grab the title and duplicate it in pretty URL without the spaces. Or URL encoded or whatever you want. Let's save that. Hide the message. And then here, when we land pretty, we want the event to be search for event actives whose not unique ID is getEV item number 3, but whose pretty URL is basically the same thing. Paste it here, remove this. And now it should work. I'm gonna land with, what do we have here? Has an actual title with no spaces. And it should pull the, I'm pressing things. Crew, I'm pressing things. We're gonna remove the spaces. And now if I land on this, or if my mom goes to her Facebook and finds it, it should have found, let's go n debug underscore mode equals true, enter. Yep. Oh, it found it this time. Crew, it found it this time. I don't know what happened last time. Let's refresh here. Let's title. It found it. And let's go to a new tab, just to check. Yep. I already knew it was gonna work. That's why I said yep before it loaded. This is beautiful. Now we have pretty URLs where you could get a user first, and then that user's, you know, whatever. It might be a Trello board. It might be a whatever. Everybody uses this method of showing the URL like this. And Sandbox, if you go look at Trello or Instagram or whatever, they actually have a U. They have a little page name. And that was the other qualm about Bubble's use of URLs, and people are saying, can we not please have our root domain / just a username here? No, you can't. You may not, in Bubble, have just the root and then, or your domain and then the actual username here. You cannot. And the reason for that is that Bubble will look for a page in here that has this name. Oh, please, I have too many of these open. That has this name, and it's not going to find it because it's not a page. So what we do is /u/username, and now we have /ev as well. And in the next tutorial, or in the tutorial that eventually will come, we will talk about how to have either a username or an event and pull the correct thing, because there is a way to do that, and it's important, but we've been recording for far too long. Nobody's gonna watch the full half hour of this. If you did, say it in the comments, and I will send you a gift like a fire emoji or something. Alright guys, I hope you liked it. Again, thanks for all the love. Thanks for the support. I love you guys back. And I hope this helped some of you start designing the URLs and navigation for your app. See you in the next one.